you're well. Hope you're well. Hope you're well. This smells so. Just thinking about something. Anyway. Shout out to yesterday. Someone asked a question in the comments. Because when one of my previous videos I was talking about like dudes who wear nail polish and stuff like that. Wait, why does this look weird? I need to wipe my camera. Or is it just my imagination? it's good for men to do that sort of stuff. And he was asking me like why. And I kind of explained it in the video, but I think I gave a more elaborate answer to him in the comments. I think when I write, I think better. Like my flesh my thoughts out more. I think when you speak, you're kind of coming up with what you're saying as you're not coming up with as you go along, but it's harder to articulate your precise thoughts just purely while speaking, because it's happening in real time, you know? You're thinking very quickly and speaking quickly, whereas when you're writing, you have time to really think about what you want to say and lay out your argument extensively and practically, and you get to consider certain things and delete and then correct yourself and so on and so forth, you know? Speaking is kind of like freestyling in that sense. So I was explaining to him like I was using the yin and yang symbolism as a reference point, because you know yin and yang refers to order and chaos. I think yin is chaos, yang is order, if I'm not mistaken. But they also refer to male and female. People don't know this. There's symbols of male and female. So males are more orderly, we're more authoritative, stoic. Women are more sensitive, emotional, so on and so forth. Those are not bad things, by the way. Both are necessary, both are needed. So the thing about biology is it informs who we are and how we behave. These days there's this sentiment that biology plays no role in our makeup as individuals, right? So the fact I'm a man has no bearing on my personality, on my mannerisms, on the way I think, so on and so forth, which is so untrue. It's like, it's so anti-science. It's like, it's not true. It's not true, guys. So for that reason, we have men, we have women, and both dispositions of masculinity and femininity are required to create balance in the world, right? Balance in society. We need both, and we need both to be performed. The roles of masculinity need to be performed optimally, and the roles of femininity need to be performed optimally. Harmony. Now, it's like when you have this idea that these roles are interchangeable, that men can fulfill feminine roles and women can fulfill masculine roles, and vice versa, right? You can just interchange, swap it out, and do as you please. It's not true, because again, biology informs who we are as people. Our expression is intrinsically tied to our bodily realities. So women cannot fulfill masculine duties because they're not men, and I can't, as a man, fulfill feminine duties because I'm not a woman. The best I can do is mimic, right? At best I can just mimic that stuff, but I can never actually do that. So it's important, right, as men, okay, so we've established that there are these roles that need to be fulfilled in society in order to achieve balance. So now it's like, how do you go about achieving those roles? How do you go about establishing this masculine force, establishing this feminine force? Well, there's several ways you go about doing that. But one thing you don't want to do is promote anything that discourages, as men, promote anything that discourages masculinity within men. When men start dressing like women, putting on the nail polish, the makeup, speaking like women, acting like women, that is in direct conflict with the internal reality of your masculinity. You're a man. And bear with me, this can sound very archaic, but I'm trying to flesh out this thought. So basically, the reason why we understand that masculinity is more rigid, it's more ordered, it's more conservative, right? Femininity is more fluid, more chaotic, and I don't mean that in a bad way. I'm referring to if you look up yin and yang, and you look at all those diagrams, and you look at the labels on those diagrams, it's order and chaos. Chaos being a force of, the different words to use to represent chaos, but it's used as a force of change, a force of sensitivity and softness, night, this, that, like so many words to use to describe it, right? But it's a distinction from order and what order represents. So men are this represented as order. We're more structured in that sense. We're more stoic, we're more reserved. And I think it's important to be engaged in practices that reinforce that reality, right? So outwardly, how we express ourselves should reflect what's going on inwardly, like that biological reality. Because it's important. When you zoom out and you look at society and what society is supposed to be and how it's supposed to function and the optimal configurations required for the highest functioning society, you need that balance. You need men operating at their best, you need women operating at their best. So as men, it's incumbent upon us to conduct ourselves in such a manner that promotes traditional masculinity, because that's what's needed. When we start engaging in these behaviors, and like think about it, because it starts with just a few dudes doing it, right? We're just this harmless fun, yada 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 yada. But when we start loosening these boundaries and eventually getting rid of them, and more men decide, maybe it's not necessarily we're going to paint our nails, but it's like I'm not going to fulfill other masculine, I'm not going to observe other masculine traditions. What ends up happening is masculinity as a whole starts to weaken. It's a biological reality, so it'll always exist in some shape or form, but it's not what it's supposed to be. It's not at its optimal state. And that creates imbalance. And we're seeing that in the real world. We don't have to speak about it in hypotheticals. The amount of men that abandon their children, the amount of men that don't stick up for women in moments of crisis, men are just like the amount of men that are becoming very fragile, emotionally weak, all these things. It's reflective of a crisis in masculinity, because we've allowed ourselves to get to this point, right? We've allowed ourselves to become overly sensitive. And that becomes particularly problematic in times of war, God forbid, right? Knock on wood, this is not wood, this is, I'm not going to say granite, some sort of slab. But anyway, that becomes very problematic in times of war, when men are these soft emotional messes, right? Because like we know we're not sending women into the front line. We just, everyone knows this. It's not happening. So all you're left with is these dudes, that are just, they can't keep it together. I'm part of this generation. I don't claim to be the most strong man in the world, but I think it's not good when we leave ourselves vulnerable like this. And forget war, right? War, we don't want war. Even in general society, we need men to be strong. We need men to be strong for the sake of their families, for the sake of their communities. When you look at the amount of crime in certain parts of the world and so on and so forth, we need strong masculine figures to stand up and be like, no. When you leave it to women to do that, which, by the way, it's not something that comes naturally to them. Most women just are not like that. That's not to be said. That's not to be archaic in my thinking. It's just a fact. Men tend to be the ones that are more outspoken in that regard, more authoritative, more willing to engage in violence if it means bringing about peace, and so on and so forth. That's just the truth. But we lose all that when we start feminizing ourselves. And then we have women trying to fulfill that role. They can't. They're not men. They're not optimized. Your body's not optimized for that. You know, men are stronger, faster, more capable of violence. So we just naturally make better protectors and providers because of that. So when you ask women to now, or providers in the sense of go out and work in these strenuous jobs, construction, so on and so forth. Obviously, it's the 21st century. There are other ways to provide. But I think when you consider the feminine role of nurturing children, all these things, women are more suitable in those arenas, in those realms than men are. So it's better for men to fulfill the provider role, the protector role. Guys, it's all about roles. I know that the word role, gender roles, oh my god, no. It's like we're just discounting thousands and thousands of years of wisdom because we know better. We're modern and we're so enlightened, and society's falling apart and people are very unhappy because these structures do not work. So, like I said, when you have men abandoning the established precepts of manhood, of masculinity, women have to take it up. And then men become more feminine, and they try to take on more feminine roles. Imagine because preschool is a preschool teachers, that is a job mainly fulfilled by women. You have met some men in those roles, but mainly a vast majority of preschool nursery teachers, women, because women are nurturers. Women are more gentle, more sensitive, more caring. Imagine if the demographic switched. It's minority women, majority men. Just think about that. What that would look like. We don't want that. No one wants that. Because men wouldn't be well suited for that role. So in the same sense, imagine the military. You flip the demographics. Majority women, minority men. Oh. In Ukraine, as they're defending themselves against Russia, it's just women. What's going to happen to Ukraine? Guys, I'm not being sexist, I'm being real. We know that men are literally built different, are less emotional, are more practical. So in times of war, you need that. And then when it comes to protecting your family against threats, when it comes to fighting against crime, you need a mind that's not emotional, that's more pragmatic, that we need to do X, Y, Z. The president of, what's that country? Is it El Salvador? I don't know. Is El Salvador even a country? Where did I pull that from? Oh my god. Nah, we need to just... Let's do some research. don't even need to be doing this because it's not. This is supposed to be a brief point. I don't even know what. Oh, I was right. El Salvador. Nayib Bukele. I don't know how you say his name. Nayib Bukele, president of El Salvador. How he's been handling crime? This country has been overrun by cartels, right? Gangs, gangsters, violent criminals who've been terrorizing the country. And what he's done, he's been rounding them up, throwing them in prison. Very militant in his approach to dealing with the threat of crime in his country, right? And a lot of people are being so extreme. He's being cruel to the criminals, like they're actually sympathizing with these gangsters, right? And they're crying. The actual citizens of the country are overjoyed because the streets are being cleaned up. Crime is at an all-time low. People can finally go. A lot of people were saying like we can go outside finally. That there are certain areas we couldn't like be out late at night, but now we can be out late at night because the streets are cleaner and these people are in jail and so on and so forth. You need someone that's willing to be harsh with criminals, sturdy, strong, not willing to bend and fold, right? That's very masculine. Very, very masculine. Women generally speaking, I'm sure there are some that wouldn't fit that quote-unquote stereotype. It's not a stereotype, it's more of an archetype. Archetype, what does that mean? I'm just using words now. Yeah, it applies. A very typical example of a certain person of things. So you have women that don't fit the archetype of femininity, right? They might be more masculine in their presentation. You do get those instances. But generally speaking, women are not like Nayib Bukele. It's not. That's a very masculine disposition he has. When he's like, we're going to be hard on criminals. We're going to put these people in jail. We'll kill them if that's necessary too. Because they're not our friends. They're destroying our society. And the citizens are happy. There's always the people outside that are like, you're being too cruel to the criminals. No, they're criminals. They're gangsters. They're drug traffickers. They kidnap people. They kidnap children. They traffic people. It's insane. And people are just feeling so sorry for them. Anyway, I say all that to say, imagine this guy starts painting his nails and wearing dresses and doing all these sorts of things, guys. Like, it's not... And then the society at large starts doing that. You lose the resolve needed to carry out actions such as he did to reduce the crime rate in his country. And the two are linked. You might think the one has no relationship to the other, but there is a link because everything is psychological. Everything in your actions do have an effect on your subconscious, right? These are very delicate practices, very feminine practices. And what's likely is if you're engaging in that behavior, if you're engaging in feminine practices in one area, you're probably engaging in feminine practices in other areas. Like you're becoming very loose and lax and decadent. That's why I say how we present ourselves outwardly should be a reflection of what's going on internally. So if we understand that masculinity is rigid, tough, stoic, so on and so forth, let us present ourselves that way outwardly. How we speak, how we act, how we dress. It should be reflective of an internal reality. So you integrate your mind, your body, and your spirit to create a unified identity. Everything is reflective of, each thing is reflective of the other. So you integrate it. When you create this disharmony, you're a man, but you dress like a woman and you think like a woman. It's like, it's not, it doesn't work. It's not balanced, because there's so much incongruency. Like, I just feel most people can tell that there's something wrong with the image of a man in a dress, makeup, whatever. Like, it just doesn't look right. It sounds crazy. I know it sounds crazy in this modern time we're in. It sounds mean, it sounds prejudiced. I'm just being real. Like, there's something about that image that does it. It's like, it looks best on women, and anything other, it looks like a parody. It looks like you're just mimicking women, but you're not actually a woman. It just doesn't look right, you know? Only women can pull off that look and make it look good. I've never seen a man in a dress like he looks good. I don't know, like, it's never happened to me. A man in makeup, a man in heels, a man with the long acrylic nails. It's never looked good, because it's at best like a mimicry. At worst, you're mocking women. So, you know, I hope I thoroughly explained my case for why men should present as men, as masculine. This is about congruency. It's all symbolic. You understand, because of testosterone, because of what else, your chromosomes, I don't know what else informs our nature as men. Because of these things, we present in a certain way to reflect these things. It's all symbolic. But symbolism is real, because it's speaking of reality. So when you start symbolizing things that are not congruent with your internal nature, that is symbolic of something. It's symbolic of incongruency. It's symbolic of imbalance, which is destructive, not good. Anyway, I've rambled. I've gone on and on. Shout out Nayib Bukele, man. He's really helped this country. Fuck what all these other people are saying about him. Crime rate is down. The citizens are happy. The citizens are happy. That's all that matters. The actual people that live there. I'm sure there's many things that need to still be fixed. It's not a perfect country, I'm sure, but at least the crime rate is down. That's a start. So we just hope that they go from glory to glory. Okay, let's pray. You know I like to pray at the end of my videos to impart blessing and peace and all that great stuff. I was talking about masculine presentation. My nails are too long, dude. I haven't cut my nails. I've just been lazy. It doesn't even take that long to cut your nails. Anyway, I like to pray at the end of my videos just to impart blessing and peace. Dear God, thank you for this individual watching this right now. Thank you for blessing them, making them whole, making them unique. Just pray that you guide them on a great path, Lord. Help structure them. Help inform them in their decisions. Help show them what's best for them. Help show them what's good for them, so that they can be fulfilled, so that they can be happy, so that they can live a good life, a wholesome life, a righteous life. That they can be proud of, that you can be proud of, their friends can be proud of, their family can be proud of. And they're just well equipped for life and its hardships and its challenges, but that, Lord, you secure triumph for them, you secure victory for them, so that they can keep their head up high, and maintain their smile, and bless them with many, many, many good things, so that they can constantly give thanks and be grateful and be happy, and yeah, just be grateful. And through that spirit of gratitude can attract more blessings, Lord. So good health, long life, and happiness over this individual, over their friends and family, Lord. In my name I pray, in Jesus' name I pray. Amen.